In today's video, we're going to talk about how to vary your distance the ball flies when you're in the bunker. Make sure you check out this video. Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at my short game area. I'm in the bunker, and today's video is all going to be about varying the distance the ball flies when you're in the sand. So we've got to be able to hit to those different targets. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already, I'd love you guys to consider subscribing. If you hit the little bell icon, it just notifies you every time a new video goes live. Right now, we're going to jump into this one. So with that one there, I was hitting to a mid target, around 15 yards away, and I had that club face quite wide open. But what would I do if I was hitting it to different targets? So I've got here some closer pins that are about 12 yards away from me, the mid pin that's around 15, maybe even 17 yards, and then the back pins there at just over 22, 23 yards. So I've got to be able to vary my trajectory, vary my distance the ball flies, to really be able to start to get to that pin. Now, you may just initially be happy with get the ball out, and that is fine, but you really want to start to set your targets higher than that. If that is always your goal, you're going to end up leaving some in the bunker. You've really always got to be a little bit more precise than that and try and actually always hold shots when you're in short game situations. I always think about where the ball's going to land, how it's going to react, where it's going to finish. Now, you're not going to hold very many, but you've got to get into that mindset to be a little bit more positive when you're over the golf ball. So I've got a number of golf balls here. I've chucked a few in because I want to talk about varying trajectory. And for me, there are a few options. Perhaps the simplest one is varying the club. So I hit that shot there with a 58 degree, but I've also brought in here a 54 degree. You may even have something like a 52. You may even have something more lofted than your 58. You can get 60, 62, 64 degrees. So if you've got 2 or 3 wedges that you could play in the bunker, then actually varying the club loft is quite an easy one to alter how far the ball flies, the trajectory of the ball flies out as well, which will affect the amount of roll that you get. So club choice is quite an easy one if you've got that. The club choice, also look at how the bounce varies as you alter the club. So generally your sand wedge, like a 56 degree, will have a bit more bounce on. Normally your lob wedges and gap wedges will have a little bit less bounce. Less bounce is better at digging. So when there's less sand, less bounce or dig. When there's more bounce in there, like on the sand wedge, it'll help us glide or skim. So it's better when there's more sand. So when I'm in the bunker, although this video is all about distance control, I'm looking at height of the lip and how much sand's in the bunker as well when I'm thinking about club choice, okay? But varying the club can be quite a good way to alter how far the ball goes. There are a couple other options. The one I wouldn't, or the ones I would stay clear of, is trying to vary contact point. Unless you're a highly skilled golfer and spending a lot of time practicing in the bunker, I wouldn't vary your contact point or your aim in the sand. I'd always aim for around 2 inches, 5 centimeters. And I find that the majority of bad shots and bad bunker players are striking too far back in the sand. So I wouldn't want them trying to alter it. I just don't meet many golfers good enough to really vary where they're striking in the sand. So I'd always aim for a couple of inches rather than start to look at varying it. As I said, unless you're highly skilled, practicing a lot in the bunker, then knock yourself out, give it a go. So we're always aiming for that couple of inches. How else are we going to do it? Well, I would look at, instead of changing swing length, so this is again for me another no-go. I almost want to be 3/4 to 3/4. I would be very wary of trying to make sort of quarter swings, half swings. I think we need that momentum. We need a good 3/4 to 3/4 action. So I personally would vary how far the ball's going by varying the loft on the golf club. So the more I open the club face, the higher it's going to go, the shorter it's going to go, the straighter the club face, the further it's going to go. I know with a bit of practice time, when I'm on point with my bunker play, I know if I open that face fully, which is turning a 58 degree to 80 something odd, I know that I can't hit it much more than about 10 yards. So let me give that a go. So if I open that face fully, almost so the club's flat to the floor, I can make a pretty long swing, and it's going to land probably level with these first two flags. Because this is quite a firm AstroTurf green, it might release to that middle flag, but it's going to land closer to these first two at around 10, 12 yards. I don't hit it much more than that with that face fully open. So you can see a nice committed swing, landed about level with the first flags and just released to that other middle one there, as I said. So it's finished about 15. I think on a receptive green, it would stop a little bit quicker than that for me. So that's with the face fully open, and you saw a pretty committed swing. I know if I have the face about half open, so let's say it's 15, 20 degrees open, I know I can get more like 20 yards out of it, which would get to about the ridge between the small middle flag there and the tall ones at the back. And I know if I square the face and have it dead straight, the club is going to dig a little bit more, so I have to be perhaps a bit more precise with contact point, but I know I can get about 30, 35 yards out of it with this same club. So it's a 58 degree, but I've altered how far the ball's going. So let's try the face just square. This should fly a little bit beyond the green, maybe landing right at the back edge. So the club face is square now, 58 degrees. Everything else is staying the same. I'm not altering ball position, I'm not altering contact point, or trying to at least. And I'm going to make the same committed golf swing, okay? So the same length, same speed in my mind. All I've varied here is the loft on the golf club. That contact point was good. It flew to the ridge at the back edge of the green there, which is about 30 yards, and it all finished in my other bunker over the other side. So you could see a much lower trajectory, much more distance on it. You know, you want to learn these in practice so you know how far they go. And I know if I have that face sort of halfway open, I'm looking at about 20 yards. So if I open it 15, 20 degrees, I know I could hit somewhere between the two of those. So the first one landed by the first two flags. The second one, where I had the face dead square, landed just over the back of the green. If I open it a little bit, so it's landed closer to the middle flag, and it's just released there to about the ridge. Possibly took off a bit of yardage with a little bit too much sand in contact. So, you know, again, I'm aiming for 2 inches. Do I always hit that? No, unfortunately not. I don't practice enough to be able to do that consistently. So I'm quite often striking 3 or 4 inches too far back in the sand. I'm not going to go too much into the reasons of that. I will put some links in the video here where I've talked about contact point, and I've talked a little bit more about the setup. I'm not going to go into huge detail on that today. We're just looking at varying trajectory, varying the distance the ball goes. So my 2 options so far, I've either got change the club or change the loft on the golf club. As I said, for me, I've learned almost 3 distances: face fully open, face halfway open, and face square. And that's given me 3 distances with the one club. If I want to hit the ball more than that 30, 35 yards, that's when I'd start to change the club for me, and I'd go into something a little bit less lofted to gain that little bit more yardage of those 40, 45 yard shots, which are very tough bunker shots, maybe the hardest shots in golf. The other option, I'm going to stick with the same club actually, the other option we've got is speed. So I wouldn't try and change strike point, I wouldn't really try and change swing length, but you could change speed. And again, you might look to try and have 3 speeds in here. So what I try and do is have the backswing length and backswing speed pretty consistent. For me, I like to have that little pause in the backswing. And it's a split second, so I'm feeling like it's a very light grip, a little pause almost at the top of the backswing. And I'm committing to, or changing how hard I'm hitting it, how quickly I'm swinging through. I would never look at stopping shorter in the sand. I'd still try and make a nice 3/4 swing, but I've got a smooth swing, I've got a mid-pace swing, and then I've got a quick swing. But I've got the same backswing speed to it. I don't use this option personally a lot, but it is an option. It is worth trying. It is worth giving it a go. So I'll try and finish with 2 shots. I'll try and hit a smooth one and then a firm one, but I'm going to try and keep the club face the same. So I've opened the club face a bit. I'm trying to keep the contact point the same, but I'm going to go for a nice smooth swing. But you're still going to see sort of 3/4 of the way back and hopefully still swinging through towards the target. So a really smooth, committed swing. just landed just onto the green, even short of the first two flags. This landed about 10 yards with that same face angle, hopefully the same contact point. I'm not a robot, but I'm trying. Same contact point, and I alter the speed. So a much quicker swing, and you can see landed over the ridge towards the top flags there. That was actually really, really good. So that one landed about 25 yards. The first one landed about 10. But hopefully from this angle, you'll have seen that actually the swing length appeared to be similar. It was the commitment on the way through, the speed itself. So if you're going down that method, maybe look for 3 speeds. Maybe look for a slow, a mid, and a fast. Or you could think of that at miles per hour. You could have a 20-mile-an-hour swing, a 30 and a 40, or something on those lines. I'd aim for about 3, try and get 3 distances with one club, and then maybe if you've got another wedge, try and get the 3 with that club. Learn how far they go. Just write them down somewhere, learn those distances. It makes a huge difference standing in a bunker knowing, well, this is my fully open one, or this is my smooth swing, rather than just guesswork that most people are perhaps relying on. If you enjoyed the contact video, if it has helped, hit the like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, share with as many golfers as you can, and drop a comment in the box below. It's great to hear from you guys, any videos you'd like to see. I will get round to filming as much as I can for you.